When did you fall in love with Porsche? What makes you love this car so much?
I've had a love affair with Porsche my whole life. Porsche did things in a very unconventional way since day one. The biggest thing that any Porsche lover will know is the 911, which is their sports car that has been manufactured since the 1960s, has the engine in the back, and and it still does go against the principles of what a car should be, but it makes the drive so much more engaging.
How fast have you gone in one of these cars?
I went the fastest 320 kilometers an hour.
Which is what?
That's
in my terms.
I think that's pushing almost 200 miles an hour. Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It's amazing. We were going about 150, 160 miles an hour in German highways, which is legal. Because German highways have in the Autobahn no speed limit. That is a unique experience, more so than the time that I drove at that speed on the track. It's a very unique experience to drive 150, 160 miles an hour on the road with other cars beside you.
Do most of the other cars go fast too, or are you passing someone who's going 55 miles an hour?
We did pass a lot of people that were not going anywhere close to our speeds, but we did encounter people that were actually going even faster, and you learn a lot of driving etiquette in Europe, of how you have to stay in a certain part of the highway when you're going a certain speed, and how people respect if you're going a certain speed and they move out of your way. Something that we don't have here in the US. These cars definitely want to open up. They want to be driven hard, and specifically the car we're driving now, this is a car that was born to be on track most of the time. But like we're driving it now, it's a car that's very comfortable to use every day. It's that's another thing that sets Porsche apart. They make cars that are developed to be track cars, but this GT3 RS is a car that you can drive on the street. It's still comfortable. It still has great suspension. It's still a very fun car to drive, and you don't have to be on the track at all times to drive it.
Is this car pretty rare though? You don't see a lot of them?
Yeah, so anything that comes from the GT department from Porsche is pretty rare. Usually it's a one-year production. This particular car is a 2019 GT3 RS. They were only manufactured for model year 2019. And yes, they're very rare. We usually have a substantial waiting list for these cars.
And this specific car, what do you love the most about this car?
In my eyes, this is the best car Porsche makes, because it's not the fastest, but it's the most engaging on track, and it's still a car you can live with on the street and drive with without beating you up. So, it's a car that's extremely fun. The engine is absolutely unique. It's a motorsports derived 4-liter, 520 horsepower engine. And what that means is that there are no turbos attached to this car. So it's a car that has a lot of soul. A car that sounds better than almost everything out there, and I think drives better as well. It's, like I said, not the fastest, but I think it's the most engaging and the most fun engine you can get in the Porsche world right now.
I love that you say it has a lot of soul, because the last time I was in a car like this, I was not driving, but I felt like it spoke to my soul, because it was like going downhill on a really high roller coaster.
Yeah. When
it took off, there's that feeling where you lose your stomach, right? Just
like this?
Like that. Now, I know what it feels like for me as my dress just went up. I know what it feels like for me as a passenger. Does it feel the same way for you? Because you've been in my seat and then you're in that seat. Does it feel differently behind the wheel as opposed to being the passenger?
Yeah, extremely. And cars like this, you'll get a very special feeling regardless of if you're driving or being a passenger, because they just convey that. And it's amazing, because this is a car that Porsche's made in a couple different generations, a couple different ways over the past 20, 30 years, and it only gets better and better and better.